yes, today we are starting standing. And the feet can be maybe like a little bit wider than hips width distance. I want you to kind of feel like very rooted and powerful in your stance here. Maybe the toes turn out just a little bit. We'll take a little rock back and forth on the feet just so we can find center. Micro bend in the knees. And from here, let's shrug the shoulders up to the ears and let them go. And again, exhale out. And one more time. And let it drop. And with that, you can bring the palms to face forward, fingers spread wide. Shoulders still dropped nice and far away from the ears. Feel the stack of pelvis, your tailbone, spine, your shoulders, your heart, your head, all in one beautiful line. And if you feel comfortable here, you can go ahead and let the eyes close. Watching the breath as it comes in through the nose, out through the nose. And beginning to follow it down the body into a bit of a body scan here, just checking in. How are you doing today? Both in body and in mind. Feeling restless or still? Light or heavy? Maybe something in between. Breath quick or slow? Steady or even? All of it's good. Just getting a picture of where we are as we head into this. There will be quite a bit of flow today. So as we begin that, whenever you're feeling ready to move on here, start into a series of breaths where the arms come up, above the head, reaching up to the sky, fingertips spread wide on an inhale. And then the exhale, it's almost as if the weight of your elbows pulls the whole body down. Knees bend, torso follows, and you roll it down to the ground. Inhale, sweeps the arms up as you roll back up. And that exhale collapses with the elbows leading you down to the ground. Go ahead and take that with your own breath here. Really getting a nice deep bend into the knees and to the bottom. Maybe starting to take your gaze up towards your fingertips once you get to the top of your inhale. And then the gaze follows the hands as they come down. Next time you are at the bottom of your forward fold, go ahead and stay. Maybe here you find a moment to grab opposite elbows and sway from side to side. Maybe shaking out the head, yes or no. And from here, we will reverse the pattern. So your inhale will roll the body all the way up through center, reaching the arms up high at the top, and the exhale is a beautiful dive, leading with the chest this time, leading with the heart. Inhaling to roll up, arms reach, looking up toward the hands, and the exhale, the arms come out to the sides as you dive slowly forward, using your whole breath to get down there. So keep that rolling. drop the shoulders away from the ears as you reach up. Just now realizing I left my glasses on, so that's gonna be sweaty and fun. The next time you are all the way up at the top of an inhale, stay right there. Let the shoulders drop. Maybe wiggle the fingertips. Have that little micro bend back to your knees as you reach the right hand to the left wrist. Inhale. And then exhale over toward the right. Opening the left side waist. Staying here for a breath or two. Feeling nice and grounded still in those legs. And then when you're ready, inhaling back up to center. Switching to the other wrist. Inhaling to find length. And exhaling to open up toward the left side. Breathing still. You can kind of keep that grip that you have on your left wrist as you swing the arm in line with the shoulder across the body, dropping that shoulder down. Find a little stretch across the shoulder here. Maybe you look toward the right. Go ahead and let that go. Maybe shake it out. Coming into the other side. Arm straight across the body. Left shoulder drops. Maybe you look toward the left. Still breathing. Maybe feeling some of the heat that the breath and movement brought into your core, into your legs. And then we'll go ahead and let the arms drop here, shaking it out. Bringing the hands to the tops of the shoulders as we roll the elbows leading toward the back. Taking just a few like that, and eventually those will grow into full arm circles, reaching beyond your wingspan, almost as if there's energy shooting out the tops of the fingertips here. And then you will come to interlace the fingers behind the back and stretching all through the chest, the shoulders, maybe even a lift of the chin here. Take an exhale and start to let the shoulders collapse out. Bringing the hands right back to the top. This time we'll roll forward. You're out drawing big circles with the elbows first here. And then the whole arm. Maybe you even add a little bend with the knees. Anything that feels like a rightful flow within your body, go ahead and take it. And from here, we'll come to interlace the fingers in front, opposite thumb on top, the one that feels weird, and press those forward as we cave the belly back toward the spine, dip the chin and bend the knees to open up the back here. You can take a little tilt from side to side. Breathing into the back rib cage. And then come on up, keeping the fingers interlaced. We'll just take a little wrist roll here. Shaking them out. We will be on the hands a bit. So taking the right hand into a stop side, you'll bring the opposite palm to the fingertips and just gently pull back into that forearm and wrist. Now taking it the opposite direction, so like a little puppy paw, and pulling back. Being gentle with yourself. Go ahead and shake that out and take the other side. Stop and pull. And reverse. So the palm is forward. Excellent. Go ahead and shake that out, and we're going to step to the top of our mat. If we're not there already, ooh, I have a friend in the waiting room. Good timing, friend. Okay, so we are here at the top of our mat, and we're going to head into some sun salutations. If that is something you have done a million times, I welcome you to come through this beginning bit nice and slow, as if it were your first time, paying attention to each little detail. And if this is your first time for real, feel free to keep it slow, but we will be going through one full set nice and slow, and then I'll give you some time to flow through. So we're just starting here with that same really grounded stance. Maybe this time the feet are right underneath the hips. Feel the body stacked. And once again, bring those palms to face forward, shoulders drop down away from ears. We'll just take one breath here. On your next inhale, arms will rise up above the head, maybe swooping up to the sides if you've got enough room for that. And on the exhale, they'll come all the way back down, again, maybe with that dive if you'd like. Once you are here in your forward fold, bring your hands right to your hip points. So you can grab onto your hips. And from here, using your palms to press into your hips, lengthen the spine forward. So you're finding this really flat back that's kind of coming from this lengthening all the way from the tailbone to the top of the head. You can always have that little bit of micro bend. Actually, I recommend it to walking out here. So keeping mind of that, keeping mind of the lower ribs, pulling in and up, shoulders away from the ears. Lots to kind of take you away in this halfway lift here. We'll take one more breath. And then on the exhale, you'll take it right back down to the mat. From here, we will step back to the briefest of plank poses. So bringing the feet all the way back to the edge of the mat, and we'll drop down to the knees first, and then the chest, and then the chin. From here, you can untuck the toes and press the hands into the mat for the gentlest of baby cobras, looking down toward the ground in front of you, breathing. And the exhale takes you back down. Inhale will press you up to all fours, tuck the toes, and then back with the hips up into your downward facing dog. So we're here pretty early today. You can go ahead and just take some time to pedal out through the knees. Maybe pressing nice and firm into the mat with your hands, fingertips, especially the L that your thumb and pointer finger make. Really feeling the space between those fingers on the mat. And then gently, you can start to turn those bent knees into little steps. Just making your way back up toward your wrists, toward the top of the mat. And once you're here, again, we'll find that halfway lift, bringing the hands to the hips. Or you can also take them to your shins, maybe to the thighs. Maybe they just float. And then your exhale brings you back down. For a nice long rise all the way back up. Arms come up overhead, shoulders drop. And then the exhale takes the hands back to where they started. Palms facing forward. That nice, powerful mountain pose. So from here, if you are really familiar with this pattern, feel free to go ahead and flow with your breath. One movement per breath, and you can take that through 3 times. And whenever you are finished up, just meet us right here where we started. I will also guide us through one round for anyone who needs another. And that will start. Go ahead and exhale out with an inhale reaching all the way up. Exhale to fold. Inhale Inhale to find that lift, long spine. Nice deep breaths here. Exhale to fold again. As you take your way back to plank, drop the knees, drop the chest, drop the chin. Inhale, lifts the chest. Maybe a little higher this time. Exhale, lowers. Inhale, presses up through all fours, maybe as you tuck the toes and lift the hips into down dog. Maybe you take a big breath here in down dog, sighing out the mouth. And then with your inhale, you'll start that walk back toward the top of the mat. Once you reach there, end the exhale in your forward fold. And inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. Dropping the top of the head. And then inhale will take you back up. Reaching arms high. Exhale to find them by your sides. Right here, immediately inhaling back up. Exhaling to dive down. And starting it all over again. I'll drop out the verbal cues, but keep going through it up here visually, just so we can get a little silent flow for anyone who wants it. Making sure to let the breath lead this movement. Even if you forget what comes next, that's okay. Take the breath, take the pause, and then let your next inhale find the next movement. Once you do finish up that third rotation, just find yourself once again in that really steady mountain pose. Maybe you bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly, and just feel how the breath, how your pulse, your heartbeat have changed. How they are both working to sustain you in this moment. From here, we will move all together into the next phrase of this flow. So you can inhale the arms up overhead, exhale your way down, halfway lift, finding that length, exhale to fold. Step yourself back with the left leg forward and a nice long lunge here. You take your time as we're setting up. Maybe you drop the back knee if that is feeling like something you want today. Maybe later in the flow you can keep the knee lifted. And we'll take an inhale to raise the arms up overhead. As we're here, see if you can feel a pull between both of your inner thighs, kind of knitting themselves together, and then drawing that energy up through your center to feel super supported. Lower ribs tuck in. And then we'll gently bring the palms, press together at your heart space. Take a nice inhale to lift the chest. And then on your exhale, you're going to take your right palm towards your left thigh and just find a gentle twist here. You don't have to crank all the way in. There'll be plenty more twists to come. Just find a little moment to breathe, to massage your inner organs, all that good stuff. Dropping the shoulders, any tension you have in the jaw, maybe the brow. And then let your next inhale bring you back up, keeping those palms at the center for one moment. And your exhale can come back down to the mat with the hands as you shift the hips back, finding a hamstring stretch. From here, we can turn this front foot, and by nature of it, also the hip, in and out to find a little rotation. Trying to feel that same sensation that we do in halfway lift in the length of the spine here. I'm not modeling the best today. There we go. It's better. Gorgeous. And then as we walk our way back forward, we'll lift the back knee, bring the left hand on the inside of the foot, and then gently start to rotate the back leg so that the heel comes down, toes come up, and we find ourselves in this nice, low inner thigh and groin and all the fun, good stuff stretch here. We're going to walk this all the way over so that we can switch sides. Settling in for just a moment. Trying to find as much lift in the chest here as we can. Maybe even using your right elbow to press into the right leg to open up. And then undoing, just like we came, this time twisting toward the right side. So you should be then in a right side lunge with the right foot forward, left leg back. Maybe you drop the knee here, maybe you keep it lifted. Either way, inhaling to bring the arms up overhead. Finding that same knit, kind of lifting up from your base instead of sinking all the way in. Finding a little power here, drawing up from the ground. Hands will come down to center to meet right at your heart. Inhaling to lift the chest. And exhaling, you'll take the right elbow, or the left elbow to the right thigh for our twist. Breathe here. Feel the heat of the palms pressing together. Feel your deep belly breaths pressing into your thigh. One more breath. Next inhale brings you back up. And we bring the hands back down to the mat. Shifting the hips backward here. Finding that little rotation. In and then out with the hip and the foot. Long spine, heavy tailbone. Again, we'll start to take that shift back forward, bring the right hand inside the leg, and begin to rotate back to where we came. So that is your pattern here. If you like a little quicker, you can start to move it with one breath. And the other option for you on the twist is, if you keep the back leg lifted, you can also do this with the back leg on the mat. Your inhale will reach up, exhale will draw both arms out toward the sides, but you're still finding that twist in the torso. Left hand reaching back, right hand reaching forward, and then your inhale brings you back up before you sit back into that hamstring stretch, either with the legs straightened or with that back leg on the ground. So there's your options. I'm gonna just let you have it. Go ahead and take 2 full rotations through, making sure you get right and left leg. And feel free to make some variations up for yourself as you go. If you're like, oh, I wonder what happens if I like coming to a little squat here. Amazing. Go for it. This is your time to flow. As always, pay attention to your thoughts. If you find you're reprimanding yourself or maybe not being so nice about forgetting what comes next, or my thing doesn't look like I wanted it to look, that's also why we're here. To sort of practice those thought patterns, seeing them, recognizing them, taking note of how you're inclined to react here on the mat. Because the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. Just kind of seeing if you can give yourself a little room to play, to maybe be surprised when something comes up that isn't quite what I told you to do, but maybe it's exactly what you needed. So take that perspective into account. You're breathing, maybe taking breaths out the nose if you're feeling a lot of heat. This is a lot of leg movement, big muscle groups moving. We're all going to meet whenever you do finish up in a nice wide-legged forward fold. So you'll get there from this little transition moment that we have. And whenever you're ready, you can just parallel up the feet, find your opposite elbows, maybe add a little bend to the knees. Take a lovely little sway here in forward fold. This is our transition out of the flow portion of class. So we've got about 15 minutes left. We're going to start to come into some nice deep stretches now that we've built all this heat. We get to really take advantage of it and get into the muscles. So starting from here, go ahead and just walk your hands over towards your right leg. Maybe they reach towards your foot. Maybe they reach even further on the mat. Allow the head to drop here. And if you're feeling it, you can add a little bend to the left leg and straighten. Maybe again. And then gently start to walk yourself over toward the left foot. Trying not to lock out in the knees. Your legs will sort of let you know if you're doing that. It won't feel great. So keep that little bend. Maybe you find a deep bend in the right leg 2 or 3 times. Checking in with the breath here. Go ahead and walk yourself back to center. We're going to turn the toes out and the knees in, or the toes and the knees out. That's not how that goes. This is definitely knees in would be bad, no. So, and rise yourself up here to this nice squat. Bringing the hands to the inside of the thighs, we will dip the right shoulder and stay. Breathing here. Yes, this is my left shoulder. I'm aware. And then go ahead and switch. Staying the other way for a breath or two. Switching again. feeling that heat. And switching once more. As you begin to straighten the legs, think about pushing down with your feet into the mat to come up here. Toes will stay turned out. Take the arms really big and wide into this huge X. So taking up as much space as you conceivably can. Feel the reaching of the fingertips, the toes, the inner heels, or inner arches, that's what they're called, are lifting up. That same power coming up the inner thighs, up through the belly. And then your next exhale, and gently just let it go. Step it in, shake it out. We are gonna take a standing posture here for a little bit of balance. So if you are familiar with tree pose, we'll set up for that. And if you want the little bit more of an advanced option, I'll offer that after this. So from here, we'll settle all of the weight onto the right leg. Really grounding in with the right toes, maybe spreading them out if you can on the mat, and just bring the left toe to the ground. If you're good with the toe, maybe take it to the calf, the ankle. You can bring the hands to the hips if that's helping a little with balance. And maybe if you want a little more, you can step the foot above the knee. So not directly on the knee, so we don't want to hurt any knees. So finding some space right here in the thigh. Wherever your foot is, wherever it's meeting your opposite leg, I want you to feel that push, that same source coming up from the inner arch of your bottom foot, zipping together, knotting in the core. I should stop making all these weird hand gestures, but and then maybe your hands come to heart center to really just press into each other and complete that line. Or maybe they grow up toward the sky. And you are welcome, welcome, welcome to stay here. If you want a little more hip stretching today and love a balance, you can gently bring the hands back down, slide the foot over on top of the thigh, and sit down into your right leg to find a figure 4 stretch, standing. I like to find one spot in the room to just focus all of my attention on, one unmoving thing. Maybe you bring a hand, if you are here, to the top of your left knee space, quite the knee, but the inner knee. Just open up a little deeper in the hip. Still breathing. And then your next inhale, everyone will rise up, maybe leaving that left leg lifted for just a little longer. And then exhale, take it back down. Shake it out, shake out your right ankle. And then start the transition toward the left side. So all of your weight, drawing power up from the mat, starting with that toe, turning it out. Maybe you stay here, maybe you find the ankle, maybe the calf, and then if that's all feeling good, maybe you lift it up and find the inner thigh. Pressing together, starting with your hands, really feel that motion. Try and find it as well with your inner thigh and your foot. Dropping the shoulders, letting go of any tension in the jaw. Maybe you grow your arms up. You can stay at any point along that journey, or you can once again find that figure 4, bringing the hands down slowly, taking that foot to the top of the left thigh, wobbling if you wobble, that is okay, as you bend into the left leg and find the figure 4 stretch standing. Even here, I'm thinking about that long, lengthened spine, because it turns on my abs, it turns on my core to help me out with balance. 2 breaths. Inhale, you come on up. Maybe keep it lifted. And exhale, step it down. Shaking out that left ankle. Shaking it all out. We are going to grab our block now for this little transition back down to the ground. And you will place it right underneath your pelvis. Toes point outward. And you'll just, like you're on an elevator, like your torso is an elevator, slowly, slowly lower yourself down onto the top of the block. And maybe if you're not as flexible in the hips, you'll want it on the highest height. Maybe if you are super flexible, you get on the lowest height. But what you want to feel is like you can come into this low squat position and feel nice and supported here. So you can really get a strong lift in the chest, but still feel that lovely stretch in the inner thigh. So once again, you're zipping up the center. You're breathing. And we'll just hang out here for a moment or two. If you want to find a little bit of movement, you can reach the left hand toward the left foot and inhale the right arm open. Maybe a wrist circle or two. And then to exhale, come back to center. And inhale to the other side. So right hand to right foot. Left arm reaches up. Come back to center. Bring the hands to the ground. And then, if you'd like, you can just remove the block and sit back. If that feels unsafe to you, please get to the ground however you'd like. We're going to come onto our backs here for a happy baby. All of this is so open, it would be silly not to take advantage. So the knees will come right up over top. You'll reach in between the legs for the outside of the feet, and then draw the knees down toward the armpits as the feet kick up. Maybe you find a little movement here, straightening out one leg, the other, or maybe you rock from side to side. Drawing the shoulders down the back. And then if you did take any of those movement options, start to slow that roll and find stillness. Maybe allowing the eyes to close for a moment. Gently from here, you'll bring the knees together in the chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. I'll give you 2 options for the end of class today. 1, classic. Lay it all the way out, arms long, legs long, maybe even arms reaching overhead, taking up space. Or, if you feel like you want a little bit of inversion, elevation of the hips above the head, you can find your block for support again. Stick it underneath your hips, maybe on the second highest setting or the lowest. And you can then lift the feet up to find a little supported inversion. Or you can just stay right here and bridge. So those 2 options, we've got like 2 minutes to hang out, and then everyone will come to meet in Shavasana. You can head straight there if you'd like. But I'm very into the idea today of drawing your power up from your base, from the ground, your legs, the lowest point of gravity of your body. feel like so much of our strength comes from a deeper knowing than we can really even acknowledge on a day-to-day basis. And I think the legs and like our lower half makes so much sense of that, because it's really what carries us everywhere, what gets us throughout the day. It's the first thing you notice when you have some sort of injury or something off. Yeah, hands, maybe I can get away with it. My neck, sure, I can do my job, I can get throughout life, but and it's not to say those things don't hurt too, but once we stub a toe or ankle, then it's, oh no, how do I get from place to place? I'll need support. And I think the more we sort of trust that we've got ourselves, and when we don't, we will get the support we need. If each of us were to move throughout the world, knowing that and knowing that inherently, that it is true above all else, that I've got myself, and when I don't, I will have the support to get through, and I receive that as true, I think we could do some really awesome things. So if you have opted here for the inversion, go ahead and just gently remove that block, bringing the hips lovingly back to the ground as you reach the legs long for this final resting pose. Take a moment here to feel every bit of mat or ground that your body is touching. Just drawing attention to those spaces. And feel how it lifts you back up as you press into it. If your arms aren't already overhead, use your next inhale to float them, reaching long from fingertips to toes. Take a big breath in, maybe wiggling the fingertips, the toes. On your exhale, roll over onto one side. Spend a moment here before making your way back up to a comfy seat. And even here, you can bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly, and just feel. As we end together with 3 breaths, you can sigh out the air. Inhaling deep through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Breath returns to normal. You can let the hands fall to the thighs and the eyes gently open. Acknowledging what you're bringing with you that you didn't have before. Thanking your body for that. Thanking yourself for showing up. as I thank you. Um,